Oh my God, it's podcast time.
Hey,
Oh my God, podcast time. All right, let's
not
do
wearing
it.
the hat today, man. I got the
I
fade going.
gotta get my hair cut. It's still kind of just kind of weird right now, especially with the beard. You know what I thought
You
about
got
doing?
that thick ass hair, dude. Even with the hat on, you take your hat off, it looks all right. It looks decent because it falls.
Yeah.
Right.
It's very thick. It's as thick as the hair on my ass. It's ridiculous. So,
Jeez, it's pretty thick.
everywhere. Just a full Yeti coat. I thought about doing a just for the winter time because I grow my beard out in the winter, and I started early because I was like, you know what, I want to grow it. I want a nice big burly beard for the winter, but I was like, I don't want to have a little fun with my hair because I don't like. I either have one or the other: clean shaven face, shaggier hair, or beard, shorter hair.
Mhm.
So what I thought about doing was kind of like that. Almost like that baseball player style haircut where it's like a mullet, but it's not that terribly long. So you get the
The
sides.
Kenny Powers.
They kind of like the Kenny Powers, but not curled, right? So
Just
definitely
get a perm. Just go get a perm and bunch it up on your neck to keep the back of your neck warm during the winter.
Be fantastic. So we'll see. We'll see what I do.
You can do it. I don't think I could grow a mullet, dude. I'm serious. I think my hair it gets a certain length and it's like stays. It doesn't grow.
Yeah.
It's like no, doesn't get any longer on this guy.
Yeah. You're like one of those
Couldn't do it.
chihuahuas, very very light haired chihuahua.
Yeah.
Like a Saint Bernard or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to it. Fact and opinion time. One awesome fact, one dumb opinion. Do what you want with it. We don't care. Let's see. There's one about the Dalai Lama. Do you know much about the Dalai Lama?
Mm-mm.
So you probably couldn't bring much to that conversation.
Mm-mm.
What about should we do the NASCAR one?
I know. One thing I do know about the Dalai Lama is Steven Seagal said he got like a black belt from the Dalai Lama or something, or he got or some award or something, dude. And everybody's like, bullshit, you know?
Yeah. Everything that Steven Seagal says is bullshit. You know who does a great bit on Steven Seagal is Tom Segura. If you find it's from his album, Mostly Stories.
I think I've seen it within no.
Maybe Netflix. You might have seen it it's on Netflix, but he does a great fucking bit about Steven Seagal. And
is it like a podcast or is it a comedy bit?
No, it's from a comedy special called
okay.
Mostly Stories. He does.
I don't think I've seen that. Yeah.
Your Mom's Basement podcast. Him and his wife do that.
Mm-hmm.
Which you know what, we were gonna do a fact, but I kind of want to rant on something. So lots of times when I'm traveling, you know, I'll flip through radio and then eventually I'll put on my comedy channel on Amazon. It's just fun to listen to and it kind of rotates through. Mm-hmm. There's a guy that I can't stand. His name is Bert Krenschner.
Oh, yeah.
He's the guy who takes
Bert Kreischer.
Whatever. His big shtick is he walks out on stage, takes his shirt off, and then he does his special. I can't fucking stand that guy. And
it's I know exactly what you're saying. I was kind of the same way at first, but he's all right, I guess. He's not the first guy I'm tuning in to go see what's going on, you know.
My problem is I feel like he tries so fucking hard. Like he tries too hard. Like the whole shirt off thing is already just a cry for look at me. So
I think that's kind of part of his shtick, though. Being like the so this is how I kind of maybe know this or kind of feel this way is because he was on the Rogan podcast with like 4 or 5 other comedians. He had just like a round table of comedians, and dude, you could tell that he was like the kind of like the picked on, almost like the little fat kid or something, you know. I'm not trying to be all bullyish here, but
no. So he kind of leaned into it. He's like, "Oh, look, if you're gonna make fun of my
right," so he's like, "Yeah, I'm that guy." So I think that's why he's like takes his shirt off. I think that's why he does, because he's like he kind of takes that stance, I guess.
It's just I get where you're coming from, and some people do lean into it. They're like, okay, look, if you use it as your, you know, if you use what the bullies are against you, like my height, I crack height jokes all the time because I'm 5'8", I'm not a tall guy. All right, people are like, oh, I thought you'd be taller. I'm like, whatever. You got to lean into it because then it takes away the power of it. But I feel
if you show any weakness too, dude, people are gonna pile on even more. He learned that early on.
Yeah. But I feel like he's like his shtick is I'm the fat sloppy drunk guy, and I can't get into
I
it.
see. I don't think his comedy is like, it's not my style, really, or I don't even know if I should say that it's not my style. It's just like there's funnier comedians to me, so I'm not like seeking them out.
Yeah,
But I've seen him on a few podcasts, and I was like, all right, I think he's funnier on podcasts. Honestly, I think he's more funny when he's just kind of open and talking. Yeah, when he's not really like trying to deliver, a certain script or spiel,
There are some people that are like that. It's like they get on stage, and yeah, they may have a decent shtick, if you will, like a decent stand-up, but it's almost like they're funny people, but when they're trying to perform as a funny person, it loses something. Kevin Hart is a perfect example. Kevin Hart, I've talked about him before. His stand-up is, I feel like he's trying too hard. But you get him on like a podcast, or you get him
even a movie. Like he's good in it. He's fine in movies.
One of the funniest things I've ever seen was, I believe, Kevin Hart, Conan O'Brien, and Ice Cube taking one of Conan's like interns to get her driver's license. Dude, it's the funniest fucking thing. But again, it's not Kevin trying to do like, hey, here's a joke and I'm going to tell it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just good. I think natural stuff's more funny. When you try to force it and reenact it, it's not the timing's not there or something, Here, real quick, this is funny. We're talking about this. Last night, I watched probably a half hour of this comic. I was scrolling through Netflix. I'm like, I'll just turn it on. Let's see how he does. Theo Von. Is it Von Theo? Theo Von?
Fucking can't stand that guy.
Theo Von. Got through like half of it.
Dude, he's terrible.
Dude, he's a podcaster, right?
Yeah.
So he's a podcaster that's. So did he do comedy first, or
he's been doing comedy for a long time. Dude. Okay. I can't I won't say I hate you. I try not to say hate. But I really dislike that guy. I don't think his comedy is funny at all. It
was like you're right. There's other there's like Jim Gaffigan, dude. I watched one of his like way back, and I was crying through it, dude. I was dying. And I like compare that to like other comedians. And that's why I don't think I watch a lot of comedians. Is because like I think there's with comedy or stand-up comedians, I should say, there's like a base level of like these comedians, they're all kind of funny. They're all kind of in this. And then you have your one or two that are just like, dude, this dude is fucking this lady's fucking hilarious. Whoever it is, is hilarious.
You don't need to put women in that. There's no good.
Trying to be politically correct here. Amy Schumer is not up here, okay? Just to let you know.
Look, I tell you what, I'll take the brunt of this. There's no funny female comics. Send it to me. Ladies, just don't do it.
Kathy Griffin. Oh, dude, that's bad. Why even put her on stage?
Jesus fucking Christ. Right. It's just terrible.
But you know what I'm trying to get to is these one or two comedians that are up here almost ruin it for the ones that are good, that are decent. Yeah. It's just, dude, I want that, Chappelle, George Carlin.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, see, here's the thing. I'm not a huge George Carlin fan. I don't mind him.
I love George Carlin.
What George Carlin does is it's really long stories.
It is.
And I'm not so much of a story guy. I like if you're
you like it boom, 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 boom. You're right.
Not necessarily always just boom, boom, boom. But that story's got to be 5 minutes of the best. And I do love to. You and I, or at least me, talking about comics. Well, they need to do this.
Right.
I think there is something. I get what you're saying. Where like there's a upper echelon level.
Yeah, you watch the few that are just so good, man, and you're like, another thing too is something about live comedy is different. I could watch something on a DVD and then go watch it in live.
Yeah,
which happened to me actually. It happened the opposite way. So I watched it live, was dying, dude, and then I was in the video store after. This is back when video stores were still a thing, And I went to the comedy section. That's the dude. We went and saw Czars. So I rented it. It was a different special. It wasn't what he was using then because what we saw was newer. But, dude, it wasn't that funny. And I'm like, wait, dude, I was just dying laughing, know. And the material was kind of the same. Like
when you're at a place surrounded by other people laughing,
the atmosphere.
You could throw some of the Comedy Central specials on, and it's not as you can almost get distracted because you're not in the moment. So let's touch back one thing. Theo Von, absolute garbage. I hate that he has a great podcast or a popular podcast. I've never once thought anything he said was even remotely funny. I've really lost my.
I feel like he tries too hard. He's out there.
He's not funny. And he swears way too much. He's another one that does that. You know who I've kind of lost interest in? Anthony Jeselnik and Daniel Tosh. I can't get into that anymore.
Tosh I haven't seen in so long. He's kind of faded out.
Like when him and Jeselnik, when they first kind of came out around the same time, it was that shock and awe, like, oh my God, like that's funny. And we saw Jeselnik actually, Kiki and I did in concert, at like live. And he was really good. It was good. But now, like when I listen to some of his stand-up and everything, I'm just like, maybe once you hear the shock and awe that first time and you know what's coming.
See I like his writing. So I know it's gonna be something ridiculous at the end. The punchline is gonna be something you're not expecting. That's what you almost expect now with Jeselnik. But I enjoy the hey, damn, dude, he thought of that. That. He's an interesting guy to me because dude, that's you're going deep, bro. I enjoy people that have like that real deep intellect. You almost got to be kind of fucked up to get to some of these spots these comedians are in.
I think some of the stuff I do lose on Jeselnik too is he can be a little pompous, and that's fine. That's his style.
Right.
But
it's kind of his shtick too. Yeah.
It's kind of like pompous, and I'm not saying all comedy needs to be lowbrow. No, I think
he is like that outside of the stage, though.
I will tell you one thing I did really enjoy, and I don't think he's still doing it. He did like a YouTube or podcast show with other comedians and almost an interview style with other comedians, and I thought it was really good. And again, now here's a guy that I think off of it when he's not just trying to deliver, it's better that way. You know what I mean? So,
right. Comedians are just weird in general, man. It's crazy business.
I still have on my bucket list. I'd still like to do an open mic night stand up. I have like a 5-minute routine, and I'm not saying it's good by any means, but I'm like, all right. If I always try and keep in my mind, like if I ever saw an open mic, like I go up there, I'd be like, all right, I think I got 5 good minutes that I could do, and people would be like, all right, that was pretty good. That's about all I can get. One of these days I'll do it on the show, and it'll.
So, dude, I did. Hey, dude, trust me. Remember back when we were I had confidence back in the day, like some weird confidence, dude. I did some shit. I did a little stand up. I don't know if I ever told you.
You told me about this, but you stole your.
I stole basically all the material. I kind of stole it and regurgitated it a little bit, but it was between Frank Caliendo, Pablo, Francisco.
Yep.
I think that was it. I think it was just those two.
Yeah.
But dude, even not having to come up with the material, right? Mm-hmm. Which I kind of did. I added a few extra voices and kind of twisted some things around a little bit. So there's a little bit of mine in there.
You Mencia, you Carlos Mencia did.
Carlos Mencia did, right? Dude, I'm in fucking high school. Don't be laughing. You should be proud of me for getting up on that stage and performing it. Mm-hmm. I don't care, dude. If you stole a whole hour bit, you still got to perform it. And dude, I'm telling you, I've been in wrestling, high school football games with 5,000 people, dude. My heart when I got on that stage, I mean, it was a cold sweat, bro. Like, I think,
dude.
I don't know if comedians lose that after a while.
I don't think you can. It's same thing with like artists we've talked about. I don't think you lose.
You lose that cold sweat of just nervous. Dude, you want anything to go wrong.
And I think that's just pure adrenaline. That is pure adrenaline coursing, no matter how many times you do it, because you're still getting up there. I think even the best, most polished speakers or comedians in the world, you still have to have that, because that keeps you sharp. If you kind of lose it, then you get to a point where, I don't know, you almost just kind of ramble or you don't prepare enough because you're like, oh no, I'm funny enough. I can just go up there and prepare, or I'm just can go up there unprepared. No, for sure. Mm-hmm. For sure. So let's leave it with this because I know we could go on, and of course
I got that video on Facebook. You should go check it out.
I would love to. Actually, I need to watch it. laugh. Pete Holmes, John Mulaney, Tom Segura, Nate Bargatze, Jim Gaffigan. Obviously, is great. These are all guys you should check out if you haven't. Try to think who's another one. But those are really, really good that I've gotten into recently. I will tell you, Jim Gaffigan, because he's had to push out more with Netflix, his last two haven't been that good. It hasn't been as solid.
Kind of tailed off. His first couple, man, I was crying.
Again, he pops up a lot on that Comedy Channel. Like he did this bit about whales, and it's like, Jesus Christ, who thinks that? It was fucking brilliant, man.
Do you like Ron White?
No, actually, no. I've lost
Don't
a
like
lot
Ron
of
White?
I used to. I lost a lot of respect because again, he made a comment off of like in an interview or something, and is real fucking pompous. I'm trying to remember what else, and he just kind of is that way. I've kind of lost his back in the day.
I mean, come on, you got to say his comedy's fucking hilarious, though.
I mean, it's
It's
good.
pretty funny. First time you heard it, you were like, "Damn."
Yeah, his tater salad bit was great. You know,
Right.
and
That's kind of what I'm basing it off of.
Yeah.
Jay, what about Larry the Cable Guy?
I still like Larry.
Dude, Larry's funny.
But I've heard all of his stuff now. Like he hasn't anything new. It's the same thing. Growing up, it was really easy to listen to Bill Engvall, Jeff Foxworthy.
I'm not sure how old Larry the Cable Guy's most recent one is, but it's on Netflix, or we watched it off of Netflix. Yeah. And it was material I'd never heard before. So I knew it was a little bit newer. Dude, wife and I were just like Jim Gaffey. We were crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
His timing, dude, you know what's great about Larry the Cable Guy? And I love about his comedy is he'll hit you with a joke, but then he'll hit you with 2 or 3 more that are in the same realm of that joke. Like he goes like 3 or 4 deep, and it's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And like by the 4th one, dude, you're just like, I can't fucking. This is too funny, dude. And it's the delivery. His timing's great. But here's a weird thing. It's like I never click on Larry the Cable Guy because I'm like, it's just that, hey, you know, that Larry the Cable Guy. You know, you kind of think you know what you're gonna get, but when I watched it, I was like, okay, nice, dude. He's still coming up with new shit, and
he's reliable. He's a reliable comic. I think most times you listen to him, you know you're gonna at least get some good laughs. You're in for a good hour. So you're
gonna laugh with him. With George Carlin, you might get a public speaker sometimes. You might get a comedian. It depends on what mood he's in.
Yeah.
I really this is kind of old school, but one of my favorites growing up, and he's way over the top. And now looking at him, he's pretty cringy a little bit, but I just still think Pablo Francisco.
See, I don't like him.
I know he's too much for you. He's too active.
It's too. Oh, Dane Cook's another one I always like that always got a lot of shit too. I like Dane Cook, but he can be over the top for some people. Yeah, Pablo, I never got super into. Yeah, I've watched some stuff, and not saying he's bad by any means, but
it was like the first time in my life that I heard like real good impressions. Yeah, and I think that's why it like stuck with me because I was like, that's cool.
Same thing. Like I guess impressions throw me a little bit because it's like not saying there's anything wrong with it, but like who's the
Frank Caliendo?
Kelly,
no, what? Do you like Kelly?
Yeah, he's not bad. No, the
Gabriel Iglesias.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Like, goddamn, I just can't get into him either, man. It's just like everything he does, he's got to throw a voice in the story, and it throws me off on that.
Yeah,
you know,
he's like the first time you see him, he's funny, you know. But and then after the fluffy bit, kind of, you can't just lean into being a big dude all the time and like base all your jokes around. Yeah, I think he's funny. I like Gabriel Iglesias, but it's like what you said. Like once you see it,
it's kind of there. You're not, you know. And I know we're not in the demographic. You know, same thing with like Kevin Hart. I mean, there's obviously comics that lean harder towards their demographics for sure, just like we do. But I don't know.
Like Jerry Seinfeld.
Love Jerry Seinfeld. Dude, well, he's one of those. He's a pioneer in it. He's one of the guys that just changed stand up for sure.
I watched a podcast real quick. I know. Yeah, we can go forever on this. Jeselnik and blah, 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 whoever the other comedians were. But Jeselnik was talking about, he went to a Jerry Seinfeld show. You know, he's been to 2 of them. He said, I fucking walked out of the first one. He's like, I couldn't believe he's still doing the same bits that he was doing in like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And he was like, he was with other comedians at the time too. And he was like, are you serious? And like, they were laughing, I guess. And Jeselnik was like, dude, I couldn't even stick around. He's like, went the second time for some reason, went back. This is a couple of years later. He's like, it was brilliant. The funniest show I've ever seen in my life. It was like, it's weird on like different nights. Seinfeld's got like a bag of shows.
Yeah.
Like to choose from. So like if he looks out in the crowd and there's a bunch of old people, like he'll use his 90s like safe comedy routine. Yeah, if he walks out and there's a bunch of young kids, it's like, okay, I got a routine for that. Isn't that crazy?
And that's what you got to look at. Seinfeld is on he's like here up with some of the other greats.
He lives on stage, man. You know.
Yeah, made a career out of it with the show and everything. I mean, his sitcom was based on a stand-up comedian. He got it because he was a successful stand-up comedian, and then they made a show about it. One of the best, longest running comedy shows ever. You know what I mean?
Hey, you know what? We should finish by saying this. we've ripped on a lot of comedians. We said a lot of comedians aren't funny, but you know what? Respect to you guys for going out there, getting on stage and actually doing it, man. Because that's got to be the hardest job, dude. If you hand a mic to somebody, the world's gonna be like, nah, yeah, I'm good. I don't want. There's not a lot of people.
So 99.9 of the, but 99.9999% of the population can't do it, won't do it. So yeah, so to even the ones we don't like, yeah, of course, it's still there, except for Cat Williams and
you really don't like
Cat Williams and Theo Von. Garbage. Get off the stage.
Get off the stage.
Get off the stage. All right, that is going to do 20 minutes. We ranted for 20 minutes on that. I did not plan on that. We will see.
We do a fact and opinion.
No, fuck no. Let's get it.
Right.
We'll see you guys next time. Not doing it.